Welcome to The Roofer Show with your host, Dave Sullivan. You found the podcast that helps roofing contractors grow their businesses, make more money, and have more free time.
Tommy Mello, what's going on, man? It's great to see you again.
Great to be here. I'm excited. It's the highlight of my day. I really do enjoy doing this.
Well, we had you on. We've had you on a couple of times, but the last time, oh God, what was it? June of 2023. And we had some great conversations both times. And, I've got some specific questions that I wanted to ask. And, because I listen to your podcast and my favorite episodes are the Q&As. I just love those. And they're just kind of bullets where you talk about, you give some great advice. And so I've got some questions. So I just want to make sure I pick those up at the end because I know we're going to, start moving in a lot of different directions. So I want to make sure I cover those. But a little plug for your book. This is a great one. I love this. Was this your original Home Service
That's
Millionaire?
the OG,
Was that the first one?
The Home Service Millionaire. I sat down with Al Levy in 2017, showed him, and he said, you need to rewrite it. You need some experts in it. So I got 12 experts, rewrote it. It was really a collection of amazing people. And that's kind of the fundamentals, I think, that build a home service company. So, yeah. The next book give me 2.5 years or less will be the Home Service Billionaire.
There you go. And then you did Elevate. I see that behind you. And
build a business where everybody wins.
Okay. Love that. And you've got your conference coming up, the Freedom. Tell me about that.
So if you go to freedomevent.com, it's in San Diego, September 25th through the 27th. We've got an amazing, some people have events and it's all about mindset. Other people have all events and it's technical, what to do in your business. I think it needs to marry both. And so I got Keith Mercurio, probably one of the best coaches. He used to work for Nexstar. Amazing speaker. Steve Sims wrote Blue Fishing. I got Jocko Willink, extreme ownership. Badass. Sebastian to talk about AI, which I'm a huge fan of Rilla Voice. Eleanor Rohr wrote Where Did the Money Go? I just understand financials. All I can guarantee you is this will be, I know a lot of people say these things, but if this does not move your life in the right direction, not only your business, not only your family, and I mean by family, the company, if you don't understand the takeaways to build something more than just a business, that'll give you your money back. This event, I lose money. I literally lose money. This isn't a glorified sales pitch. I make a lot of money with A1 Garage Door Service. So many people have given back to me. They invited me into their home, which is their business. Ken Goodrich, Ken Haynes, Leland Smith. I've studied HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and the more I help people, the more I feel like it comes full circle. I just know the more I help people, it comes back so much. And I go in without the intentions of Lord, pay me back. But it's just the way the world works. It's like karma. So for me, I want to change lives. I want to watch people grow. I want to watch better mothers and fathers, people with more mutual respect for their parents. I want to watch people have coworkers and employees that get paid great money to impact the community and raise their kids right and be significant role in their lives. So I really do believe if you're not coming to this event, bring a few key players. And if you can't afford to come, or your business will fall apart if you come, you need to be here. Right. Because what the hell? If you can't get away to San Diego in September 25th through the 27th, we've got bigger issues, my friends.
Right.
So I hate to self-promote, but I want to do it world class. And these are networking events. You talk to people, there's billionaires going to be there, and there's people that are doing startups. There's younger, there's older, there's wisdom, there's thirst. There's all kinds of great people there to be connected with.
I love it. And I know they're great conferences, had a number of our guys that have gone. And you're so right, though, about, I can't take a few days off because my business is going to fall apart. You don't have a business then, man. You got a job. So you're right about having bigger problems. So get your butts down there. So agreed. All right. Well, it's been a while since we talked. So bring me up to date. I know you've got a lot of things going on. Last time we talked, you had your private chef coming on, going to take care of that. You were really into You're working out, you're eating right, you even stop drinking. I mean, I don't know. I draw the line there myself. But anyway, tell us about what's going on and give me a little update on that.
Yeah, A1 is just, it's absolutely crushing right now. I've been really focused on kind of CFO stuff. We've renegotiated with one of our spring partners. That's $6 million to the bottom line. We've renegotiated with our credit card merchanting. That's $4 million to the bottom line. Literally, I found $10 million. Different insurance plan, that's $800,000. We've got our new credit card giving 2.3% back because our spend's so high. Not 2%, 2.3, that's $400,000. Renegotiating the way we buy trucks, that's $1 million. You add all this up, it's 13 to 14 million. Next year, that'll be $20 million of savings. I think people forget you can get your KPIs dialed in, but your negotiations and how you buy from your vendors really matter. We've got 2 deals closing in the next 3 weeks, got 18 deals in process. We're going to be greenfielding 3 markets. And then by the end of this year, we'll be adding on other services. Like we're going to get storage dialed in. That's coming up real soon. And we're looking at other things as well. Taking advantage of the Inflation Reduction Act, things of that nature. We are, we're not far from getting another deal done in less than 2 years. And after that, we'll go public. And so I'm very excited about that. Me and Bree have never been better. We're not drinking. We're working out every day. We are like super passionate. We're going to church. We've fallen in love again and really got ourselves out of the distractions of the day to day. We're just focused on each other. Got 2 amazing dogs. Kids are in the future. We're starting a lot of construction at our house and our place we're building in Idaho, which is kind of annoying and fun at the same time to see something come together. And man, I'm getting ready to go on a golf trip. I got my father going with me and my cousins. We're going to Traverse City, Michigan. I got to tell you, I started really, really, really following very closely, and I pay this guy a fortune, but his name is Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. And I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm just implementing every single thing. And when I find somebody that I really look up to, I kind of take everything they say literally, and I try to become better than them. So I already told him I'm going to be his best student he ever worked with. And he goes, that's a tall cup of tea. And I said, and I'm going to surpass you very quickly. No offense, but that's just how I roll. So, I'm actually beyond the video and the camera and what it looks like to people out in whether social media or on a podcast. Like I'm truly I'm very, very I'm very happy and I'm very, very thankful. And I know it could get taken away. And I just love where I'm at. And I feel so content. I'm living in the present more than I ever have. And my brain's on correctly. And I'm just this love and this passion and this fire. And it's not just a facade. This is really every aspect of my life. It's the most I've been dialed. And I'm enjoying it. And I want a lot of people to come with me. It's lonely at the top, people say, but it's not lonely when everyone's next to you. Your loved ones, your coworkers, the other businesses. We're allowed to win together in the trades. So I got to say, man, I'm just excited to wake up and it's sunny. And you walk out in the sun and you just absorb that vitamin D. And it's just been great.
Awesome. And I'm sure all your employees are loving it. You got a great attitude, brings up the entire business, everybody you deal with, everybody you come in contact with. I mean, I'm all jazzed, man. I'll tell you, just talking to you, it's great. Good for you, man. So now
that's my goal. That's my goal. I want to get people that are like, where do you get your energy? I'm like, man, I don't know, but I just hope when I walk into a room, I hope people feel my aura. Even if I don't say anything, I got a smile on my face. And I'll walk into a room and I'll tell you who respects themselves, who's enjoying life. It's pretty simple. And I hate to say you judge a book by its cover, but I think everybody kind of does. I mean, if you went to a pool and there was pretty girls in Las Vegas versus kind of a retirement home and diapers, that's an age thing. But regardless, is you could just tell the people they just sit differently. They kind of just listen differently. Their eye contact is a little different. Their handshake is not masculine and tough, but it's I believe in myself handshake. And I've literally got rid of everything that's not positive. And it's not been easy. And I'm still friends with a lot of people, but man, my day's 99% full of abundance.
Takes a lot of work. Good for you. That's great. Well, let's talk about this billion-dollar business that you're building here. What's going on there? How are you doing it? You're buying up companies. You're expanding into other areas. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so well, I love buying companies, but I like being able to greenfield and grow. Like I, I, I look at it like this. I could take a jump shot anywhere on the court and make it if I get greenfield. I got to wait for the right opportunity. And not everybody wants to sell. Not every business fits my buy box. You got to be very disciplined. God bless you. So I kind of pulling out all the stops. I'll just go through a few things. Like my buddy Ryan Fenn, he presented at we have this event called Vertical Track for garage door companies. And he was on stage, I don't know, it had to be over a year ago. And he's showing me this product called Chirp that does follow-up. And, we've used HubSpot, and we've used all this stuff, different. And he goes, it's the deepest integration into Service Titan. So I had my CTO call him, and he goes, it's not going to work. Well, Ryan really, really likes A1, and he really liked me. And he was just speaking to my events, and he goes, we'll put the 60 days of development in to make it work for A1. So he made it all work. And we are just jamming with automations. Like if we don't close a deal, it's sending them a Calendly invite, figuring out a way to work with them. So it's getting money we weren't able to get the rehash. If we miss a phone call, an abandoned call, it's able to reach out and get that call booked. If the things that take forever, like getting them registered with their warranty, Chirp does that automatically. There's so many things that we figured out that we could use these automatic messengers. Like when you fill a form out on Yelp or Angie, or there's a million other sites, it's automated responses. It's doing AI. It's automatically booking into our scheduler. It's just to not take advantage of these tools for the price that it is. I think he said his average return on investment is 43x of what people spend. Like usually I look for 10x, I want to spend 10%. 43, and we're doing even better than that. I mean, it's like every day you see how many jobs we're closing because of it. The other big one is the AI tool, True Artificial Intelligence, Rilla Voice. And Rilla Voice is absolutely crushing it. It's a recording that records me and you talking. 38 states require only one person consent. And we took a guy that was number 200 in the company's number 6 after 60 days. We jumped all in with that. I got 350 licenses. A lot of people say they can't afford it. It's so funny. They look at it as the cost instead of an investment, but it takes work. It's like any other software. You got to use it. Power BI. Power BI is a business intelligence tool. It allows me to pull everything in from my payroll system, my CRM, and my financials, which is intact. And I could build custom dashboards and introduce new data for it to spit out stuff like age of home, credit score. It allows me to look at everything and kind of systematically through statistics tell me insights that I would have never been able to find. Service Titan's amazing. I mean, just the tools we're putting together. I mean, the fact is most people say I don't need to be branded correctly and they don't get their company through KickCharge, and they say, I don't need manuals, screw Al Levy stuff. And they say, yeah, Tommy talks about Chirp or Rilla or Power BI or Service Titan or Intact or whatever it might be. But I can tell you this, it's going to be impossible to really compete when I've got the economies of scale and the checks and balances. And everybody goes, well, the question is what to start when. And what I would say is your CRM is the foundation, right? The second thing is how much lost revenue are you getting by not booking every call? Or not converting every call, or not getting the customer pre-financed. Chirp is a very, very affordable tool. And the other one I told you about, Kellen called me up, a really good friend of mine. He was working at a company called Viral. He was an owner. And they partner with Yelp and optimized everything. And he calls me up and he goes, hey, Tommy, I figured out a way to dominate Google. And I'm like, okay, you figured out Google. And he's like, no, seriously, dude. He's like, let me try 5 accounts. Pay me to optimize 5. I'll give you Scottsdale for free. So I was like, all right. I prepaid him, it was a few grand for a few months or whatever. And my VP called me up and he's like, dude, what the hell's going on in these markets? Like, because we got reporting on everything and the calls have tripled. And the reason it's called Pin Parrot, PINPARROT. So pinparrot.com. He's not even found. He's not even indexed on the internet. He's busier than can be because like 5 of my buddies got on it and it's just word of mouth now. but somehow it pulls your CRM data and posts onto your website and gives unique content to Google that they've never seen this picture of this data. And it proves to Google that you're running these jobs, and it builds more trust. And then, he gets the stuff indexed correctly and makes sure you're getting the right reviews and they're channeling the right way with the names and the pictures and making sure the customer is truly explaining the situation. And he's got stuff to remove reviews. Like if one of your employees quits and leaves bad reviews, that doesn't follow the terms and conditions. That's not a true client experience. So he's really good at this stuff. And, you add all these things together and you turn the knobs, you negotiate it correctly. Yep. You got a plan on how to get trucks. You train your guys for a couple of months. All of a sudden, we're 60, if we do these acquisitions correctly, we're over 70 million of EBITDA. We run this thing to 110, it puts me in the billionaire status. And then the next deal, I roll a bunch. And now we're talking about a $15 billion company when we go public. And it's just like, things are so dialed. And just like I said with me personally, and I think they kind of go hand in hand. When everything's going good personally and business, it's like the perfect harmony. So that's kind of the update of what we're doing. It's kind of the new stuff. And we're starting to get very, very laser focused with a rifle instead of a shotgun on how to recruit great installers and technicians.
It's amazing. I mean, AI is really going to change things. I work with the smaller contractors, and this is really roofing contractors from startup to about, under $10 million. And just trying to get them to follow up, any kind of follow up. Okay. Because here they're making their proposals, putting out quotes. They either say yes or no or nothing. Well, the majority of the people, they can't make a decision. They're going to wait on something. They're going to think about it. There's never any follow up. So we're always talking about this. Never. You say the automations. It is pretty simple to just get those automations going where you're getting reminders, you're getting questions, because we want to get to know. We're going to lose, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 deals. So we want to know if we lost them, and that's fine. So we just got to get that information, and that's what comes from the follow-ups. And otherwise, it's just crazy. You're going to lose all those deals.
Roofers are like waiting for the money to come in. They love storms. They love weather, but most of them never figured out how to create a flywheel of jobs. They don't have the checks and balances. It's the Wild West. Cristiano and Chad Peterman just got into roofing. Lance Bachman is blowing roofing up. Ishmael and Travis Ringy just started a roofing company. Tom Howard just got into roofing. When these HVAC guys get into roofing, all I can say is good luck. They know perfect attribution. They know how to generate leads. Yep. They understand the Inflation Reduction Act. They understand efficiency. All I'm saying is you got a huge average ticket. They know how to close. They know how to follow up. They know how to book the phone calls. They know how to train salespeople using financing. They know how to give options. They're not giving ultimatums. And what I would say is I'm not discounting who roofers are. And this is not a one-size-fits-all comment. But there's a reason I studied HVAC for 5 years, and I went to every company doing over $100 million, and I learned service agreements, and I learned how to use financing, and I learned how to have models that are predictable every single time. And HVAC's been doing this since 1970. Yeah. 1991, Frank Blau created Nexstar Network, and Jack Tesser ran that. And right now, Julian Skaden is amazing. And these guys are kind of spraying and praying, and they've lived comfortably, and they've made enough money. But now that private equity is coming in, and now that the sophistication and the tools and the AI and the BI and the machine learning and the automations, it's like, if you're comfortable, you are screwed, and good luck. Because if I was in roofing, I'd already be a billionaire. My average ticket is less than $1,000. I run 20,000 jobs a month. What would happen if I was running 20,000 jobs perfectly a month in roofing?
Yeah, with an average ticket of $25,000, there's a lot of money in it if done right. Now, so private equity, here's all our clients getting letters, getting emails, probably from yourself. Hey, we want to buy your business. It's worth, millions of dollars. Well, most contractors, probably 95% of them, think their business is worth a lot of money. They get to the end of the road, try to sell it. It's got no value, and they end up closing the doors. So what is AI looking for? Private equity. Because we always talk about building to sell from day one, building a business that you can sell, whether you want to sell it, bring it to, pass it down to your kids, whatever. It gives you options. but everybody thinks their business is worth a fortune. And here they are, they subcontract all their work, so they have no labor force. They have no SOPs, they have no training programs and so forth. Tell me what they're looking for in a roofing business. I've got a business, let's say $5 million in an annual sales. What do I need to do to get it prepared to take advantage of this?
Yeah, so I'm hoping at 5 million, you're at 20% of the bottom line, which is $1 million. And that's after you pay yourself on a W-2, 200 grand.
Thank you.
So that's paying FICA, Medicare, everything else. If you're just taking owner withdrawals, you're not even following Uncle Sam, and you're a mess.
Yep.
Number one, what I would
Big
look
problem.
for. So do you have a CRM that you could look at your booking rate, your conversion rate, your average ticket, and your cost per lead? And are those numbers dialed? Not your uncle that's a CPA that does it on the side. Do you have financials closed by the 10th, and are they audited? Like, are they really, truly correct? Because most people haven't closed out March yet. And as long as there's money in the bank, they're still going. They're running wild. Next thing is, are you on accrual accounting? Because you'll never get a delayed draw term loan. Cash accounting is for small companies that don't know what they're doing. There's some tax advantages to it, but you got to follow general accepted accounting principles, GAAP accounting. I look for, the real deal is, do you have your KPIs and are your financials in order first and foremost? Secondly, if you were to leave your business for a month, if it would run pretty darn good, the company's worth more. A lot of people think goodwill and I've got all this customer base. That ain't worth shit. I hate to say this, but I'm just going to speak the facts. I look at people and I'm like, the most I'm going to give you is 10 grand for your phone number. I don't care how many customers you've done over 30 years. You don't make money.
Right.
After I get rid of your pay, because I got to replace you for a couple $100 grand, you don't make a profit. You're worth zilch. You got no lead gen. You've underbid at every job. Your labor force sucks. Your reviews aren't good. You drive old ass trucks because you save money. You didn't go to get the right brand. Your brand's worth garbage. So these are called add-ons. And the only reason I like add-ons typically is because I'm buying the customer base. I could reactivate the list. I could turn the KPIs, higher booking rate, higher conversion rate, higher average ticket, lower cost per lead. It's a great way to grow, but they don't need $1 million of EBITDA. What they look for is, okay, I'm going to put my model on top of this. And even if I pay 5 or 6X, the effective multiple is 1 because I'm fixing it. So, I think the problem is most people, they look at this as a job instead of an asset. Your job is to grow that asset. This is your baby, but you shouldn't get married to this baby. You should build it. And most people divest. They go, well, we deserve this. We deserve this. Instead of reinvesting in the one thing that's going to make you a fortune, you don't have delayed gratification. You're not disciplined enough to put the money back in and to watch it and to recruit the right people and build the org chart, the depth chart, and have a system. And people buy into that. That's called a platform when it's scalable. Is I could take your amazing business that's proven tried and true in multiple markets, and I could use it to buy everybody. Now, the reason I don't want that owner to stay on is because he thinks he's gold. He's like, oh, yeah, I built this thing for 2 decades. Of course you want me. Don't give yourself a big head. Nobody wants you. You might have a decent business. It's easier to buy you for this little multiple because I'm taking all the arbitrage. I'm getting it. I'm a higher multiple the day I buy it. My effective multiple is super low. I'm buying you. No offense. I love it when I get a really strong owner that's like, dude, I'm willing to learn. I want to come on. I want to learn the way. Ken Goodrich with Gettle called me up when I was going through looking at possibly private equity. And he said, you're one of the smartest kids I know when it comes to home service. And he calls me a kid. I'm an old man now. I'm 41. But he said, when you learn how these guys raise capital and how they do integrations and how they do their monthly meetings, he goes, Tommy, you will have a PhD. You're like a kindergartner when it comes to that side of things. When you get both put together, what are you going to be, 43, 44 by the time you get this lesson? He's like, just absorb and be a sponge, ask a lot of questions, go to their meetings and events they invite you to. And he goes, you're going to come out. He goes, I would do anything to trade places, not because it's Tommy Mello, because you're still at an age where you could do a lot with it. 10,000 baby boomers a day are retiring, 12% own a business. Your kids don't want your business.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they want dad's business. No, they want the money to go do what their dreams are. Oh, yeah, my kid loves the business. He works in the business. I had a few friends from Australia come out for the father and the 4 boys. And he goes, yeah, my kids are going to run the business. I go, hey, guys, would you rather run this business or each have $5 million to pursue your dreams? And, look, you could start another business similar. You sign a non-compete, so it'd have to be a different part of town over the next 5 years. Or you go do anything you want. And you buy the house you want. You can have a family. You can go on the dream vacations. They all said, I hate to tell my dad, but yeah, the money, and let us pursue our dreams. We've learned the discipline. We've learned how to make a business work. But then dad's sitting here thinking all the kids want to just, hey, dad taught you well. They're a great family. They cold plunge together. They work out together. I love this family, and I would never try to disrespect them. But I'll tell you, from my eyes, everybody's like, yeah, my son wants to. Have you ever talked to your kids? And do they really want what dad had? They've seen you go through, like, you missed my graduation. You barely made it to my wedding. You never were present, even though you were there. You think that's what they really want? I don't think so.
Well, you got some great points. And I'm just thinking back of the clients that I've been working with this week. So true. It really starts off with that, we call it the 2-week vacation. If you can't take 2 weeks off from your business and have it run, you got no value. You've got a job, and this is the goal. So how do we get you to take that vacation? And that's one of the goals we set up. Where are you going to go? And how do we get this business to run without you? Because if it requires you to be there and it doesn't run without you, there is no value. So we got to start there. Then there's a lot of companies that, it's like the Family Full Employment Act. Okay, here's all the kids, everybody's in there. Well, that's got no value. Buyers don't want to see that. They don't want to have, and this is where so many deals screw up. When you go to sell, there's all these people involved. So, and then you talk about the org chart. How is this thing set up? Well, that's the problem. There is none. There's just all these overlapping jobs, and everybody's got a job. Nobody's really disciplined. Nobody's talking to them. So there is no exit plan to get the dad out of there. He's just going to kind of hang on, and he's going to want to suck all his money out. Thinks that it's generating all this. It's crazy. And the books, these guys, so many people don't understand the numbers. They came up through the trades or they came up through sales. Nobody came up through accounting, business. They don't really understand. So first off, the financials, you mentioned, got to have solid financials audited where you can see what's going on. I come into these companies, I don't know if they're making money or not. And it's getting those set up where you've got consistent years of good financials where people can see what's going on and you're running it like a business. So I don't see that many companies in roofing that really have that act together. And it's different than HVAC, I think. And this is, like you said, wild, wild west. It's crazy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, roofers they're very attractive, just like a lot of entrepreneurs. Like, well, we might as well do solar. We're at the house anyway, and they're looking at every freaking shiny light they could do. The next thing you know, they're trying to flip a house. The next thing you know, they're trying to like chase storms. The next thing you know, they're trying to. Well, maybe we should add HVAC. You suck at every single one of those things. Right. Master one before you go to the next one. You don't even know how the Inflation Reduction Act works. You don't know anything about energy credits. You don't understand what Uncle Sam wants, and you're over-promising, under-delivering. You're going to get someone literally arrested if you give them the paperwork wrong. And it's like, it's a shiny light. Hey, my buddy bought a bar. He's killing it. No, he's not. He's not doing his financials right. He's stealing. He doesn't even pay taxes on the cash. He could go to prison. Focus on the one thing. Wear the blinders. Get everybody rowing in the right direction. Build something special. And don't tell me you need to do it in more than 5 years. If you don't have a 3-year plan, Adam Coffey wrote the private equity playbook. He's got a rule of 130. I changed his rule to 120. You add up how much of your net worth is tied up into your business, add that to your age. If it's more than 120, you better have an exit plan very soon, because otherwise you're not diversified. You're screwed. Yeah. And I don't think people take this seriously. They think because of the last 20, 30 years where business was kind of status quo. Yes, 2008 happened. Yes, COVID happened. But here's the facts. now technology is 10xing every year.
Yep.
And AI is a game changer. Call centers will be gone next year. And I don't think people are like, yeah, we've heard that before. We've heard of that Google thing. And if you didn't go on Google, the yellow pages might have weathered the storm for you. Maybe you got a great reputation in your little town. Maybe, yes, you go to a big church. Maybe you're part of a BNI group. But shit's changing, data's changing. And listen, you don't think so? You come visit me. You come out for free. You ask me a million questions. See my training center. Go to Tommy Mello, no W on my name, TommyMello.com/shop. You come, you bring it, whoever you want. I don't charge you a penny. I'll answer all your questions. I just don't tell you what you want to hear, because real friends, they tell you you look skinny when you're not. They tell you the things you want to hear. I'm going to be, and I'm not trying to break your dreams, but listen, I don't think any advocate for you would be like, keep drinking if you're a crazy alcoholic and it's killing your liver. That's not what a real friend does. So I'll tell it like it is. And I'm not rude. I'm not usually like this. I'm just passionate right now. And I'm not trying to be a douche. I'm just saying, like, I just hate the people that, there's a lot of people that say they're going to coach people and stuff. And there's great coaches out there. I've had amazing mentors. But you get these guys on the internet that promise you they're driving a Lambo, they live at their mom's house or renting a mansion for the weekend. And it's like, listen, I coach people too. And I invest in a lot of businesses, but my primary wealth was created through my core business. And, people are like, well, why do you put out a newsletter? The newsletter loses money. Why do you do events? Listen, every once in a while, I see a business that I just want to be involved because it's easy, lucrative, and fun. It's Elf. And for me, when I do all these things, every once in a while, every few hundred people I meet, I say, that's somebody that's going straight to the top. And thank God the Lord has been good to me. I have a lot of money to invest. And so it's a great opportunity for me. And I always help every single person, young, old, black, white, Cuban, or Asian. I don't care, because it seems like it comes full circle. Zig Ziglar said, you could have anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want. Yep. And I truly believe that. And I do want to help people. I want people to know, man, that Tommy Mello, he's true. He's genuine. He's real. He's trying to make an impact. When people call me and they say, man, you saved my marriage, I'm a better father, I spend less time at work, and I'm a better leader, like, that makes my day more than we set a record. And by the way, last week was a record, last month was a record, last quarter was a record, this week we had a record day. So the records are cool, we high five, but changing lives is more important.
Agreed. I think these companies are going to get crushed by these private equity roll-ups. And it's just going on and on. And they've got to open their eyes and really see what's happening, because
I'll go into a market. I'll go into a market and I'll go in and I'll throw $5 million in, knowing I'm going to lose money for the first 2 years. How do you compete with somebody that could go in and take market share and pay the employees more, get the vans cheaper, get the products cheaper? And they might say, well, they lose the touch. They lose that mom and pop feel. Not on day one, we don't. And we're doing better systems and better training and daily meetings. And we're helping them buy a house and get out of credit card debt and become their best and get in shape and deepen their relationships and become fathers and mothers better, become better sons and daughters, and really learn how to lead and talk on stages. I had 5 people that never talked on stage last week at Vertical Track that murdered it. And leadership skills and there's a lot of people that don't want to face the facts. They're like, yeah, we've heard that before. Yeah. Well, listen, I hope you pause this podcast, do a screenshot of it, print it out, put it on your door when you walk into your bedroom, and just watch. Put a little countdown under it in 2 years, and you see where you're at. Because you could either say, yeah, one day I'm actually going to do this stuff, or is today day one? Am I going to start acting like I went into business for a reason? And you got to remember your why. Why did you go into this business? If you say I did it for my kids and I did it for my family, I want to look at your calendar and your credit card statements right now. I want to see your time cut out for your family and the vacation times and the time you're calling your mom. I want to see your credit card bills are to buy your wife flowers and take her on a special date night. Because if that's why you did it, then let me see the proof. Because I think you're full of shit, most of you. And whether you like it or not, listen, I'm not here to tell you everything you need to hear. I'm here to say, maybe wake up. Maybe this guy speaks the truth. Maybe this doesn't fit you. And I'm sorry if it doesn't. And I'm proud of you if it doesn't. But if it does, if it's hitting home, then make a difference. Do something about it. Wake up now. Now's the time. Today's the day.
Yeah, you got to just, I mean, taking that first step, first action. You talk about the public speaking and so forth. I mean, I did a fair amount, but I wanted to get better at it. I joined Toastmasters, got serious about it. It's great. It makes a huge difference, and particularly in your leadership, your confidence on stage, your presentations. You got to do these things, but and it's hard to take that first step. As you said, you got all these guys that are not familiar with public speaking, but they got out there and they did it. And that's terrifying for a lot of people. So it so true. I love the way you're telling it, because nobody likes that when I tell them, because they want to see a cheerleader when they hire somebody. They want to be, says, hey, you're kind of bringing me down. I go, well, look, you probably shouldn't be owning your own business. And this is what so many contractors, they really should not be owning their own business. They should be working for somebody else. You can make a ton of money selling roofs.
It's called an entrepreneur. I was 23 when I got into business. Didn't have a family, wasn't married, not married yet, but will be married. And I'm going to have a family. I'm trying to preserve my youth here. But the moral of the story is I was able to fall down a lot. I was able to make a lot of mistakes because it wasn't borrowed money. I fell down flat so many times. Largest failure. I've had trucks flip, stuff catch on fire for a cigarette in the truck bed, burnt the truck down. People steal, people lie, people cheat. People go work for a competitor. People literally stealing from beneath me. I've lost family that don't work for me anymore, that I had to make a tough decision. Best friends. Leaders are not loved all the time. Some people are going to hate you. I'll tell you this. There's a lot of haters that don't like me. I know that. And leadership comes at a cost. And some people cannot weather this storm. And it's never easy to get here. And if you just want to be liked, it's not the right position. And I'll tell you this, it takes a lot of failure for success. I run at failure. But what I've learned to do is ask for help as much as possible. And I've got a great Rolodex and a great network. My network is my net worth. And I've got trusted advisors that I could count on that show up. And you know what? I try to pay them back every day. And I tell them how much I appreciate them and how much they changed my life. And that's why I talk about Al Levy, and I talked about Dan Martell, and I talked about Dan Antonelli with Kick Charge. It's my way of paying it forward. Kellen's helped me. So the least I could do is talk about who's been impactful in my life. Jody Underhill with Rapid Hire, Ara Medessian and Vahe with Service Titan, and my team here, my brothers and sisters. I'm not afraid to fail. I take calculated risks, and I'll bet on myself every day.
There's too much ego involved to reach out and not ask for help, but just, hey, how are you doing this? And, big believer of masterminds, big believer of getting a mentor or a coach, having people help you do this and get you a kick in the ass to get out there and start moving, take that first step and make it happen. But it's frustrating. I was a roofing contractor for 30 years out here in California, sold my business, retired, hung around and go, okay, now what? And I had to do it. I had a vertigo and issue that I couldn't get on roofs anymore and so forth. I go, Anyway, so changed things a little bit. Had to get out of the business early, but I really enjoyed teaching. Always did, helping people. So I started this podcast 7 years ago. I mean, there were no podcasts in the podcast space. So start doing that. Just start talking to people. Love getting reacquainted. Love having conversations with people like yourselves. This is why I do it. I mean, it's just every week. I think there's just 400 episodes. I can't stop now. What the hell are you going to do? So I love doing it. And, and that it kind of developed into coaching, helping other people and so forth. But yeah, I enjoy it. But people will not reach out and ask for help. And just, join a mastermind group, see what other contractors are doing. The same boat that, having the same problems than you are. We can all talk about them, and we run a number of masterminds. And they're great, but you've got to reach out. You got to get a mentor. You got to get somebody to help, and you've got to ask. Check your ego at the door and get some help out there. You think?
people are like, how do you figure this stuff out so quickly? Well, ServiceTitan has a lot of data. They know every single industry. They know their call center. They know their booking rate. They understand the way they dispatch Pro. So I simply ask them, who's the number one company at this in ServiceTitan? And they reach out for me and they set up a meeting if the person's okay with it. And most people take my call now. I put myself in a good position. So I go straight to the top because I'm not afraid to ask. I talked to a vendor. I said, who has the best product mix? Who's selling the top? They tell me. I go fly out and meet them. I find out who's using Rilla Voice. I call Sebastian up. He says, man, this guy's figured it out. Fly out, see them. Who's getting vans and whose vans always look perfect? Oh, yeah, why don't I just go visit them? And now I started bringing the team with me and sending out different team members. My CFO is on with 120 CFOs right now. Like, listen, the answer's all around us. You want to find out how do you dominate Angie's list? Search HVAC or plumbing or garage doors on Angie's list. Find out who's got all the top spots with the most reviews. Call them up. Success leaves clues. What do we do? What are we going to Upwork or Fiverr to try to figure it out and find some little, somewhere in the Philippines? The fact is, the answers are right in front of us if we just weren't afraid. Oh, no, you got it figured out. Unless you're making tens of millions of dollars a year. If I ever tell you that I figured it all out, I want you to just take my ashes and spread them somewhere over the ocean, because I don't want to be alive, because I'm a work in progress, and every day I'm a work in progress, and I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm the best I've ever been today, but the worst I'll ever be, because I'm going to seek out more answers and try to better myself tomorrow. And I think a lot of people are like too stubborn. They're too much pride. A lot of people, there's a lot of jealousy and envy and every bad thing in the Bible. And it's like, you're too prideful. A lot of people are like, yeah, Tommy, oh yeah, garage doors, sure. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't need to listen. The only people that I really need to make sure is my parents, my sister, Bree, my close family, and the people here day one. I'm not out to prove anything. I'm literally an open book. I try to help people. I try not to talk down, but I try to smack sense into people. I'm not going to be like polite, like, oh, yes, lose it all, lose everything, get a divorce and be a bad mother and father. Oh, you're loved. No, I'm going to tell you like it is. And if you don't like that, it's probably a you problem. When you look in the mirror, if you don't respect yourself, no one's going to respect you. You keep making promises like you're going to start working out, or you're going to quit this or quit doing this, or you're going to cut down on this. And then you never do it. And you say, oh, after the wedding, after the birthday, after the vacation. It never happens. And when you're used to lying to yourself that much, you stop trusting yourself. And that's the worst thing in the world. The worst nightmare you could have is all of a sudden you're walking down this beach and you see this man, and this is like, he looks like godly. And he's got his wife on his back, his dog, and his 2 kids. And you look closely and you look and you go, wait a minute, that kind of looks like me. And you realize it is you. It's the best version of yourself. That's hell on earth. It's the best version that you could have been, but you never did anything. You let this bad voice, you fed the bad wolf. You let it keep taking over. The procrastination, the non-accountability, the non-discipline, and doing stupid things with dopamine rushes instead of doing hard things that actually really fire those. And that's okay. You made your decisions. There's nothing that happened that didn't come from your habits and your decisions. Yep. So you could blame everything. You could blame Biden. You could blame Ukraine, and you could blame the interest rates, and you're not in the right market, and the dispatchers don't like you, and it's hard to find great people, and you can't find a good account, but you're the problem. And until you say, I'm the problem, and take complete ownership, then it's going to continue to exist. And most people don't want to face the facts. They can't cope with it because they don't think they're scapegoats. They're going to blame every other person but themselves. And I feel really bad for these people because I was that person. I feel great talking about this because everything I've said has been me. And I got a lot of issues. I'm a work in progress, brother. I'm not trying to say I got it all figured out, because, man, I'm going to ask a lot more questions and fly around the country and probably fly around the world. And I got a lot of room to grow. I got to become a better son. I got to be better to Bree. I want to be an amazing dad. I definitely I know I need work, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Tommy, I love it. Hey, before I let you go, though, I said every time we
Let's get to your questions. We got to answer these questions.
We always get going. I love it. But I just want to ask a few things that we can offer to our contractors. And number one, business is slowing down. I think everybody can see that. I would think you'd agree. As far as the number of leads that are coming in, you can see Google searches are way down for, roofing services, so forth. So it's always, I need more leads, more leads. It's going to solve everything. But rather than getting into the why that's wrong and screwed up, tell us what you're doing, what our contractors can do to generate leads, to generate business and get things going, because it's slow. You
Yeah,
see
I
that?
think. Yeah, no, I think I'm hearing this from a lot of people, and there's certain things that you can't control. You can't control the weather. If it doesn't rain and there's no weather, it's tough. Roofs you don't get, there's just some things out of your control. But here's what you can't control. I had a guy redo my commercial roof next door. His name's Jason Payne. He followed up with me 33 times. He sent us cookies. Bought us pizza. He stopped in every other week. We gave him $120,000 for the job. The follow-up, everything's in the follow-up. There's one algorithm that can never be broken, ever, and that's called the relationships. It's the old-fashioned B&I meetings and chamber meetings. Yep. It's getting out and meeting realtors and referral partners. It's showing up and shaking hands. It's doing the old stuff we used to do, like knock on the doors on the same street and put a yard sign. That stuff, we kind of got spoiled during COVID. We were like, we don't need to do this. We got more work than we can handle. The other thing is, if I told you to go down a list, write down every single guy you got working, doing estimates. And I want you to rate them 1 out of 10 based on certain KPIs, definitely conversion rate and average ticket. And if you don't got all 9s, what's the point of getting more leads? You're so loyal to the people that are not loyal back. So you stack the deck with okay players. What if I took your top guy and cloned him? What would your business be doing? So you're okay having decent people that aren't closing, that don't care about the business, that aren't asking for a review, that aren't giving this astonishing client service that's spectacular. As your call center reps are not booking and fighting for every call, then why are you keeping them? You're going to let certain people take down the whole company for everybody, including the clients that might need something in the future from you. So I think stop marketing for clients until you got to the deck completely stacked in your favor with the people in your 4 walls. Other things, you got to get pictures in your reviews. And we've had it pretty easy during COVID. I mean, literally, if you could like fog a mirror, you were hired. We got so many leads. And now you got to fight. So it's survival of the fittest, and the weak fall off and the big get bigger. And this is, hard times make really hard people, that like tough people that are resilient. Easy times, they make weak people, and it's shifting, and you're watching the weak people fall one by one. And it's like, get the hell out of my way. You weren't made for this. You had it soft this whole time. And people that really don't understand business, we need more leads. We need more leads. You didn't answer your phone. You're not open weekends. You didn't answer your phone at 5:30 p.m. You had a warranty call you couldn't get to in 2 weeks. That's a 1-star review. You got people not able to get to the job for 3 days. Oh, yeah. It's crazy what I see. And, of course, they need more leads because they're not doing shit with the ones they're getting. Right. There's no follow-up. They're not even tracking their booking rate. There's no attribution models built in. So the main thing is network. Your network, you need to go out there. You need to meet the people again. You need to find the best referral partners like inspectors, and you need to find the biggest ones, and you need to show face. You need to shake their hand. You need to bring them to a game. You need to learn about their family. You need to be genuinely interested in them and find out what's in it for them. And make sure you're taking care of them and like just love on that relationship. And if you got a few of those relationships, that'll always put food on the table. And then you add Google in there, you get the right things going on, and you follow up correctly. All of a sudden, you got a good business that's sustainable, because not a lot of people are willing to do the work I'm talking about. It means you got to get out of bed and go shake hands with people you don't know. And people are afraid of that. And people go, oh, yeah, no, I'm too busy putting out fires all day. What would the business do without me? I'm too busy trying to figure out why we got the wrong tile on this roof and why we're having issues. Like, I can't help people unless they want to be helped.
Get a horse to water, man. I'm telling you, agree with everything that you say. we've got fewer leads coming in. We've got to do more with less. And we've had fish jumping in the boat. I mean, you haven't had to work for these things. So yeah, lead goes down. Yeah, we never get to it. Can't do that anymore. You got to answer the phone first off. If you don't answer the phone, they're not going to leave a message. I mean, you roll it over in a voicemail. You're just it. I really just go back to the basics. I mean, this is basic stuff, and do it well and do it consistently. You got fewer leads, and you're right. You take advantage of every lead that you've got, every sale. You want to get one additional sale in the neighborhood, so you've got to do all of these things: the yard signs, door hangers, postcards to the neighbors, letting everybody know that you're working in the neighborhood and you want to come by and look at their roof. But that's too much work. I just need more leads. That's going to solve all the problems.
Well, another thing is have options. Listen, I've got 5 options for you.
Yeah.
I'll go over each of them for about a minute and you can pick one you like. I got everything from economy, get your problem solved today, all the way up to something that's going to protect you for 40 years. And I don't know exactly where you're going to fit into this, but I just want you to pick one that makes sense for you today. And when you don't have options, you're giving an ultimatum for them to say yes or no. And a lot of people go, this is not a good lead. I'm not even going to run it. I'm not even going to go out there face to face because they're not good enough to close that. They say, oh, it's a low income area. Well, first of all, why are you getting leads over there? Secondly, is you don't even want to show up. You want to quote it over the phone. When there's someone dying for work that'll show up there and give an amazing presentation in a wrap truck with a guy that respects himself with a tucked in shirt with a big smile when he walks up and take him through. He'll have one of those cameras on your head and he'll walk through all the things that they do differently. He'll take a drone out. He'll measure the tiles and the squares and he'll talk about the differences and make sure that they're selling oranges when everybody else is apples to apples. 4% of the population buy on price. That leaves 96% of the people that want to be wowed. And if you're the cheapest, you might as well call yourself discounts are us. And the cheapest is never the best. And I know this for a fact because I set a reservation for my favorite steakhouse. It's about a month to get in. Summer's a little easier. They call you the next day. A manager stops at your table. You've got a martini. They reshake it, make it cold. They're just the best of the best. It's an experience. But yet McDonald's is right across the street. It's not that busy. So if you don't think people are willing to pay, people are like, no one would pay that price. Not for you, not for your service. Would you even buy from you? When you know the competition, you know how they show up on time. Their trucks are clean. They're organized. They got somebody that checks on the work. They do everything correctly. They honor their warranty calls the same day. I know there's a lot of people listening that would probably not even buy from themselves.
And you're preaching to the choir. This is exactly the things that we're talking about. And these are all basic things, but you just got to do them. You got to get out there and make them happen. You got to do it consistently. And, it's frustrating. One last question, one thing you do is get a lot of reviews. You got a ton of reviews. And first off is trying to convince people how important reviews are. Next is I notice in your reviews, most of them are naming the technician, getting their name in there, getting these great reviews, and as you say, photos of the work. And this is where roofing. Hey, here's my new roof. Great, get it out there. What do you do? What advice can you give our listeners to get more reviews, to get better? And are they important? Tell us a little about Google and what we should be doing to let Google know that we even exist, let alone bring prospects into our website. Any advice for us?
Yeah, so Google's really, really important, but so is Yelp, so is Nextdoor, so is Angie. Google is by far the most important because that's what people search, and the pictures in the review make it's called geotagged, and a review is called user-generated contact by a third party, and it's by a real Google account. I'm not a big fan of there's people that will hit you up from every country, the fake review crap that, Google's getting smart. And so typically, Service Titan and most CRMs will allow you to send a text message. How do we do? But what I did is I made 8 frames of the guy's family on it with a QR code to the review. And as we're the last 15 minutes, they bring in this A-frame and they explain, this is my son. He's my pride and joy. It looks a lot like dad. This is my daughter. What an amazing, she's going to be such an amazing woman. This is the love of my life, my wife, my dog, Max. I wanted to tell you real quick. First of all, I wanted to make sure I gave you 5 out of 5 service. I pride myself. This is my livelihood. Yeah, you did great. The reason I took this job is because my job, my role is to make sure they have the best life that I didn't have. My job is to make sure there's a Thanksgiving turkey on the table and to make sure there's a few good presents, and I'm going to take care of my family. When you leave a review with my picture in it, I get 2 calls a day of clients asking for me. They're literally asking for me by name. They've done the research. They see me. You give me job security. You help me provide for my family. If it's not an inconvenience while I'm finishing up here for the next 15 minutes and cleaning up and putting on our stickers and going over warranty work and just making sure everything's perfect and cleaning, would you do me the honor for me and my family of letting us know how we did? And it's very rare, unless you got a real asshole that doesn't take the time to do it then and there. And make sure my name's in it, because they're going to call for me by name, and that's job security. So most of our guys have been really good at this. The way I could check if they're doing it is just listen to their real voice, because it identifies when they asked and the way they asked. And now I got checks and balances on that. And then I got service time, sending the customer a link on top of that. So I like to stack the deck. I got way more chances than anybody because of our coaching, our training, our checks and balances. And, people are going to go, that's a great idea. They're going to write it down in their notebook and hope the note fairy comes and grants their wish. And I know what it's like. What do you do next? Tommy's got a lot of stuff going on. How does he do it all? Well, I've got great leaders. I've got people that can run projects and hold them accountable through the steps of delegation that I'll leave Tommy. And trust me, I'm not the smartest guy in this company. I was the smartest guy for a long time. Now I pride myself on being one of the dumbest guys. I've got a great vision, but man, I couldn't get done with half the stuff my COO does, or my CFO, and the VPs and the directors. I am a guy with a lot of ideas. I prioritize the ideas. I hold people accountable. I delegate properly, and they get done. And then there's data integrity and all this checks and balances, this reporting at my fingertips. So if you're the smartest guy in the company or the smartest gal, there's probably a lot of pride there. And that's another thing you need to look in the mirror.
Tommy Mello, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you coming on. Tell us one more time about your event.
Yeah, the Freedom Event. Just go to freedomevent.com. September 25th through the 27th. It's in San Diego. What a time to be in San Diego. I will bring you.
I can assure you.
There will be no shouting. There will be answers. There will be panels. It'll be about lead gen and recruiting and getting the algorithms working. It'll be about physical fitness and taking care of yourself and self-love. And it's not going to be foo-foo. We're not going to meditate. We're not going to do some yoga. Just you owe it to yourself, and most people are going to put it on their calendar and never get it. And look, this is not for profit. It costs. Some of these speakers are several hundreds of thousands of dollars. It ranges from $25 to $250. Just the venue is just the food alone costs a fortune. So this isn't a money grab, and I promise you guys that. If you don't get value, if you don't get answers, if it's not meaningful, and if it doesn't shape your future of your business, then just call me. I'll give you your money back. I don't care. I'm not just trying, I just truly believe, I'm trying to help the home service industry. The blue collar industry has done so much for me, so much, that this is what it's about. And I want it to be a great event. And the more people there that are there for a reason, the better these events are, because it's really a networking opportunity. So hopefully you could come in September. If you're too busy, and like I said, you just don't have the money, it's not an expensive ticket. It's you sell a quarter of a roof, you paid for this thing in dividends. And most people, they'll say, yeah, I can't make it. I got too much going on. And it's just it's a shame, because I've been there and I regret it. I regret not being able to see stuff like this, 2 decades ago.
Tommy, I'm motivated. I'm going to pass on my evening cocktail. I'm going to go down to the gym and work out instead. So, hey,
do
look
it.
at you, man. You're looking great, I got to say. Hey, well, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure talking with you, man. You got me motivated. You got our listeners. Our listeners love this, because, it's one of always our most listened show. So thanks so much for coming on. It's a pleasure.
Hey, anytime. Next time you're in Phoenix, you're going to visit your daughter-in-law, you let me know. We'll have dinner. I'll take you to Steak 44.
I'll do it. Hey, appreciate it, man. Take care.
All right. We'll see you later. Thank you so much.